Hello everyone, this is Goken Respect. Many of you know me as such. That is my gamer tag that I use when I'm playing fighting games. But this particular video is going to relate to Pokken in particular. I have refrained really from making any kind of video content in relation, to the recent events that have gone down within the Pokken scene. However, I felt at this point a large degree of frustration and needed to vent a little bit. This will not be a long video. I'm going to get to the point very quickly. Will take no more than a few minutes to really address my feelings on the recent events and where I stand. Some of you may choose to continue to disagree, and that's fine. I've accepted that at this point. I do feel very strongly on this issue, and but I will relay my thoughts. So I've been in the Pokken scene since day one, Wii U, back in 2016. I was there the first day at Wednesday Night Fights, ready to play the game. Both myself and Tronzilla. We saw the trailers for the game, and then when the game came out, we decided, oh man, Pokemon fighting game, let's do this, right? We're all into it, and so we've really attached ourselves to the game very quickly. I stuck with the game for a long period of time. Tronzilla is still a fan, but doesn't play as much as I do, and I've been very involved in the scene ever since. In terms of my relations with everyone in the scene, they have been like 90% positive, I would say, from 2016 all the way up until about a couple months ago, I would say, or maybe a little more than that. And then I, was made aware of certain situations within the scene. And obviously we've seen already some of those come to light, especially in regards to Kamon, in regards to others as well. But that was the situation I was most I was made most aware of most quickly. I would say it came to light very quickly. But since that point, unfortunately, there have been actions taken by a safety committee. So, this safety committee, deeming themselves, or dawning, I guess would be the right word, basically stating that they were going to be the Pokken Safety Committee. They just sent a message out in the Pokken main server Discord that this will be established and these will be the people on it. Now, this was done very unilaterally. There was no discourse with anybody else in the Pokken scene in terms of who would be on this committee and how that would be decided. It was just decided that certain people would be on it. Certain prominent names, for sure, would be on the safety committee. People that have been involved in Pokken for a while, for the most part, I would say, were placed on the committee. But again, this was done unilaterally. From one side, certain people getting to decide who would be on it, without really asking the rest of the Pokken scene who they would like to have on a Pokken Safety Committee, or if they feel they need to have a Pokken Safety Committee. So none of that was brought to light. Then, the main situation I would like to address at this point is the Jolts situation. So I think I've already made my thoughts clear on this through other Twitter posts, that I don't agree with this ban. The way it was enacted, and the length of time. So the only things that we were made aware of from this whole situation were the Twitter posts made by Jolts, the video made by Gentrax that showed screenshots, and then the statement made by Jolts following all of that. And all of that led to an 18-month ban. Now, I am incredibly confused as to how that was decided still, based on the information that was presented, based on what Gentrax presented in his video that demonstrated screenshots. Again, we all saw what Jolts stated to this girl in terms of expressing suicide, and that he was going to do it, or that he was saying that he wanted to, and that's how he felt. Again, that's not how situations should be addressed when you're having, an issue in a relationship. It just shouldn't be. You shouldn't be using, your thoughts of suicide to try to control a situation. Now, the problem here is, though, that we're looking at a screenshot, one screenshot that depicted this, along with other issues that Gentrax decided to present in the video, such as Jolt's issue with seeding and the ban of Ariel from the Discord. So those issues were, pushed under the rug a little bit, I feel like, and it didn't seem like they were considered as far as the ban. Nothing was mentioned about those situations, so that's fine. The problem I'm seeing here, though, is that Jolts launched, an accusation on Twitter about harassment made by Gentrax toward him, and also including Saber in that as well. Then Gentrax proceeded to make a video that launched an accusation at his accuser. This is problematic. This is problematic because this was one of the videos that was no doubt used to make this decision to ban Jolts for 18 months. Made by an individual who was very emotionally involved in this situation, as we all know at this point. Then it was stated by the Pokken Safety Committee that he was not involved in the decision to ban Jolts for 18 months. My issue with this is, let's say he was not involved. I'll take your word on that. I do not understand why Gentrax is in the position to make decisions regarding the safety of the community, given his emotional involvement and his willingness to, instead of addressing the accusation in particular, or focusing on the accusation in particular, decided to launch an additional accusation at Jolts. Based on screenshots he had, based on prior knowledge that he had about a particular relationship that Jolts was involved in, outside of the Pokken scene. Now again, what Jolts did was wrong. I'm going to emphasize that that is not how situations like that should be addressed when you're in a problematic relationship. To say that you're feeling suicidal and then make the girl feel in the position that she has to do something at that point, so that you don't do that, Now, in the real world, this does not equal an 18-month ban. So I understand that, or an 18-month, sentence of some sort, right? It doesn't equal that. But I understand we're in a community, so we're able to make our own decisions, and they probably should be harsher sometimes when they're warranted, to really make a statement and to ensure they don't happen in our community again. The issue here is that, again, we are not considering everything that was involved in this situation in particular. And it was, decided by a unilateral safety committee. So to me, that does not bode well for the future of our scene if this is how things are going to be decided toward particular people, especially people that suffer from depression and anxiety, which Jolt has already stated himself that he suffers from. How is that okay to say that, well, we see that there was a victim here in the person that Jolt gaslighted, and to really reflect that we are making a statement that that should not be tolerated, the actions toward that victim, we're going to enact an 18-month ban from the scene. I'm not sure where the judgment for that situation came from, where all the equivalency came from that this equals an 18-month ban. I'm really, really not sure. Now, I know everyone's throwing out the words emotional abuse. I won't go into that a whole lot, but emotional abuse is not what we saw in this situation. We did not see repeated act from Jolts. We saw someone who genuinely suffers from depression stating something in regards to suicide that he should not have stated. Since that point, between the time that this event was told to have occurred, Jolts has shown not only continued positivity in trying to build the scene, but has shown nothing but compassion and positive responses toward everyone in the community. This situation clearly was traumatic to him, which is why he brought it up. But I don't know if that was considered at all. And having said all this, my ultimate decision here, whether you agree with me or not, is I will be boycotting this Pokken Safety Committee. And I will not be going with their guidelines that they're setting forth unilaterally or their decisions that they're setting forth unilaterally in their group, until this situation is better addressed and seen in its entirety. Until that is addressed, my decision is to boycott this Pokken Safety Committee and not to adhere to any decisions made by this committee. This needs to be redone. This needs to be reconsidered from a more inclusive standpoint of everyone in the community agreeing to said committee and agreeing to who is on this committee. So those are my thoughts. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to not associate with me going forward. But I feel strongly enough to the point where I'm not going to let someone who is not deserving of an 18-month ban, I'm not going to show that I endorse said ban. And the best way to show that is not to associate, not to adhere to this Pokken Safety Committee. Because at this time, Jolts is, just to give you guys a frank update, is doing horribly. Okay? He's going through several ups and downs, and he's been getting help, but it is only going so far. So I really hope this is all considered when you guys view this video as to how this might be affecting everyone involved in this situation. And if we truly want to see growth of an individual, then we need to establish that as our goal, not to banish them from the community and from events. So I hope this is considered. Thank you everyone for listening to me. This is Goken Respect, and I will talk to you guys soon.